They handcuffed me in my own driveway in front of my 16-year-old daughter, while my neighbors peeked from behind their curtains pretending not to see. 2 officers barked about unpaid HOA fines and property destruction, dragging me toward their squad car like I was some low-life criminal. The cold plastic bit into my wrists, and all I could think was, this is going to be one hell of a show. Because the truth is, those weren't real cops, they were actors, and I'm the real chief of police. It's funny how a quiet suburban street can turn into a battlefield without a single gunshot. 6 months earlier, I thought Willowbrook Estates was going to be peace a fresh start after cancer stole my wife Marina. She'd circled this neighborhood in every real estate magazine before she passed, talking about our forever home. So, I bought it paid in full with her life insurance money, thinking maybe her dream could help me breathe again. It didn't. The only thing that did was my daughter Sage. Every weekend, we'd be in the garage together, hands covered in grease restoring Marina's old '67 Mustang. That garage was therapy. The smell of motor oil and vanilla lip gloss, my daughter's perfume, that was all I had left that felt like life. 3 days in, I learned I hadn't moved into paradise. I'd moved into a kingdom run by Cordelia Pimpton Hayes, the HOA president, queen of petty tyranny. Imagine a woman who could make a funeral director seem bubbly. Silver bun wound tighter than her smile, shark gray eyes that could appraise your net worth before saying hello. Her white Mercedes rolled through the streets like a patrol car vanity plate Rules 1. On day 3, I got my welcome package, 3 violation slips taped to my front door. Grass 0.2 of an inch too tall. Mailbox painted charcoal black instead of midnight black. Trash cans visible for exactly 4 minutes past pickup. 4 minutes. I timed it. Thought it was a prank. It wasn't. At my first HOA meeting, she fined me $500 for unauthorized commercial activity because I changed my truck's oil in my own driveway. Her voice could have frozen vodka. Mr. Blackwood, perhaps you don't understand property standards here. This isn't a working-class neighborhood. 24 neighbors suddenly found their shoelaces fascinating. That's when I realized they weren't neighbors, they were hostages. One sweet old lady, Mrs. Chen, whispered to me afterward, "She's taken 2 families through foreclosure already. Be careful." So yeah, I tried to play along. Repainted my mailbox at midnight. Trimmed the grass with a ruler. Still, every morning fresh violation notices appeared like poison pen letters. My driveway, 6 inches off-center porch bulb, 2 bright hose coiled the wrong direction. I deal with armed robbers and domestic violence for a living, but nothing prepares you for a suburban tyrant with a clipboard. Then one morning I saw them golf carts crawling down the street like toy patrol cars, amber lights flashing. Her hired security photographing every property, every car. It wasn't enforcement, it was surveillance. That's when my detective instincts woke up. I started digging into HOA law, cross-checking fines with state regulations. Cordelia was tacking on $75 processing fees when the legal cap was $1.25. Multiply that by 200 homes. We were talking organized theft with an HOA logo. Still, I told myself to let it go. I'd lost Marina, I didn't need another war. Then, Cordelia went after the garage, my sacred place. She slapped a cease and desist on my door, claiming our weekend car project violated residential use-only rules. Demanded I pay $5,000 or stop immediately. That broke something in me. I stood in that oil-scented garage surrounded by my wife's tools, my daughter's laughter still echoing, and I wanted to scream. For the first time, I felt helpless. Maybe she was right. Maybe I was the problem, the broken cop clinging to grief. Maybe I should sell the house and run. Then Sage looked up from the Mustang's open hood and said, "Dad, you arrest bad people every day. Why not her?" That's when everything changed. I started treating Cordelia like a suspect. Hidden cameras, long-lens surveillance document trails. My buddy, Riley Thornton, a private investigator with 20 years of counter-surveillance experience, helped me set up the operation. Within 48 hours, we caught her photographing residents through their windows, sneaking onto private driveways. That wasn't HOA enforcement anymore. That was criminal harassment. The deeper we dug, the uglier it got. Cordelia had created fake assessment fees funneling hundreds of thousands into her own accounts. The HOA board never legally elected. Every signature on her financial records forged. And here's the kicker, she'd done this across 3 counties. A one-woman crime syndicate in heels. But it wasn't just money. She ruled by fear. Targeted widows like Mrs. Chen with impossible fines $2,000 to remove her late husband's rose garden. Veterans, young families, anyone who couldn't fight back. That's when I realized this wasn't about my house anymore. It was about every house she'd stolen. Mrs. Chen wasn't just a victim. She was a retired federal prosecutor. She'd been documenting Cordelia for 8 months, waiting for someone like me to push it over the line. Together, we built a case file that would make the FBI drool. Cordelia must have sensed the walls closing in because she snapped. Started vandalizing resistant homes at night, then issuing fines for damaged property. Dumped trash across driveways, smashed mailboxes, even flooded Mrs. Chen's garden. She filed bogus complaints accusing me of abusing my badge, spreading rumors I was unstable since my wife's death. She wanted to break me. Instead, she made me focus. We turned my garage into mission control evidence boards, maps, flow charts, a smell of motor oil mixed with burnt coffee and righteous fury. Riley handled surveillance. Mrs. Chen handled legal strategy. Hank Morrison, a retired Marine, organized the neighbors. And me, I gathered every shred of proof until the entire operation screamed federal crime. Wire fraud, mail fraud, identity theft, impersonating law enforcement. Because that's where she really lost it. Cordelia started buying police gear online. Badges, uniforms, fake IDs. She wanted to intimidate me with her own arrest. So we set the trap. Saturday afternoon, perfect barbecue weather. Sage and I were flipping burgers when 2 uniformed officers strode up my driveway. Chief Garrett Blackwood once said you're under arrest for criminal property destruction and misuse of authority. His badge glinted like the real thing. His partner held plastic cuffs. My neighbors peeked out phones recording. Sage froze spatula trembling. I raised my hands. There must be some mistake, I said, keeping my voice steady while my hidden body cam streamed everything live. I'm just trying to have lunch with my daughter. They grabbed me, spun me, locked the cuffs tight. The smell of burnt meat mixed with adrenaline. I caught Sage's terrified eyes and gave her a tiny nod. It was showtime. Right on cue, Cordelia's white Mercedes rolled up, smug smile in place, ready to watch my humiliation. She didn't see the unmarked SUV behind her or the subtle movement in the hedges. When I touched my earpiece, the world changed. Police. Nobody move. Riley stepped out, gun drawn, badge shining. Real officers emerged from both sides, followed by federal agents. Cordelia froze mid-smirk. One agent strode forward, calm and lethal. Cordelia, Pimpton. Hayes, you are under arrest for federal wire fraud, conspiracy, impersonation of law enforcement, and organized theft. Cordelia blinked confused, then tried to talk her way out. This is just a misunderstanding. He's the unstable one. I turned to face her, real badge in hand. The only unstable thing here, ma'am, is your sense of reality. You just committed multiple felonies in front of half the town. The neighborhood erupted. People stepped out cheering, filming, crying. Mrs. Chen live-streamed from her porch. One of the fake officers, the actors, just kept whispering, oh my God, as federal agents cuffed him for real this time. Cordelia kept sputtering. You can't do this. Run this community. Mrs. Chen's voice cut through the chaos. Correction, you never legally ran anything. And just like that, the Queen of Willowbrook Estates was dethroned in her own driveway. No fireworks, no applause. Just the sound of real handcuffs clicking shut, a sound I've heard 1,000 times but never felt so satisfying. I watched as they loaded her into the black SUV, her empire collapsing behind her. Forged documents, stolen funds, fake authority, all gone. Sage stood beside me, tears running down her cheeks, half relief, half disbelief. I wanted to tell her something profound, but all that came out was, "You hungry?" She laughed through the tears. Starving. That's where it ended. No celebrations, no parties, just quiet justice. Because sometimes the most powerful victories don't need parades, just proof. Lesson: evil doesn't always come kicking down your door, sometimes it sends a fine in the mail. And the only way to beat it is to fight back with truth, patience, and evidence.